All right, I'll start the recording now as well, and we'll get started. How's everyone's trading day today? I mean, it was some pretty crazy moves today. We were expecting some larger volatility on Friday. I was talking about it since Wednesday, some Thursday consolidation, and make for a nice move on Friday. Definitely got some amazing trades today. I saw you guys were crushing it too. Uh, Definitely a wide range move as expected. If you guys have the PDF up open, we'll jump right into it. So Flow Challenge account, we're going to be just turning Wall Street data into actionable results. And you have a date on the screen, June 23rd. This is the date that I want to start, but I will say now that it's not locked in. There are two things we are waiting on. So first and foremost, there was a post I put out 2 weeks ago. It needs to get 330, whatever, or sorry, 350. It's at 330 right now or something. So it still needs to get some more reacts on there. And second thing we're waiting on is the Android app, which is set to release on the 23rd, so we should be good to go from there. But that's just giving you guys a heads up that if anything comes up, we might have to push that back for a day or two. But that's just a heads up. And I'll jump into what even options flow is. What some of you guys might not even know what options data is. Just before I start, let me just post this link one more time. Yeah. All right. So if you do get the max view error, I apologize. That's just from Discord, I guess. They won't let you guys view it if there's so many viewers. So I would say just open up the PDF on your end and try to follow along from there. And you could watch the recording back if you need, but it should be the same exact thing that's on my screen right now. So yeah, I'll jump right into exactly what options data is. I know some of you guys might not even know what options data is. Basically, the Goldsport dashboard, it is an advanced dashboard that's empowering traders and investors with real-time institutional level data and tools. So we use Wall Street level tools powered by AI, and it helps us reveal some game-changing stock options data. So options flow basically allows you to just track smart money orders in real time. It can provide a huge opportunity or an edge to see where majority of the volume is moving. So we've seen for the past, we've been using options flow for years, but Goldsport has been distributing Oprah options data since 2023. And for the folks that have been using options data for a long time, or just even before Goldsport, you guys know how powerful options data is. Whenever there is some large activity, unusual activity into certain names, we definitely see them moving, majority of the time. So that's just a quick intro on what options data is and what the dashboard is. Now, on the next slide we have is what is the Flow Challenge account. So the Flow AI Challenge is an account that I've dedicated to following smart money trades with the strat as my main technical analysis strategy. Originally, I started this account with $1,000 balance, and within 4 to 5 months, I was able to scale it up to $130,000 this week. And right now, I'm just having a little bit of fun with it. I am planning on restarting the account next Friday before we start the challenge account. So there's that. And the candlestick or the strat is just a candlestick reading pattern. If you've never heard of it, I'm sure you have if you've been in this Discord for a while, but candlestick reading pattern that I've used for years, and it is the backbone of every quality setup, I believe, even if you don't use the strat. If you go back and look at any major move that you might have traded, I can, assure you there was some sort of strat based setup behind it. And we will be touching on exactly what the strat is in a little bit more detail. Like I said, I don't want to take up too much time. I'll just keep this 20 minutes. And if you want, there is a video on the strat as well, but I will touch on it in a little bit more detail. But here's the next slide, the goal for this challenge account. So number one, understanding actionable flow and setups. So every trader must be able to identify quality setups, actionable data, and low volume environments. Now, this is one of the main important reasons that I even hosted this session today and even wanted to bring your attention to this is that it is something that this community lacks a lot in. And I'll just be honest with you guys, there are many other communities out there, trading communities, where there are people that are a little bit more on top of doing their own analysis, finding quality setups, and sharing it with the community. Now, I know that there could be a reason. Some people just might be busy with work. Some people might just be, not as experienced. So I do try to emphasize a lot of times, tune into when I do show you guys how to find these top watch setups and how to identify actionable moves. I just see some pings coming up here. Let me just take a look. All right. Yeah, so how to identify these top watch setups and how to find these, explosive moves. I try to show you guys every time, there's something comes up on the screen. I try to show you guys so you guys can do it for yourself. So this is one thing that the community does need to improve on a lot, which is starting to look for actionable setups. So at least spend 15 minutes. If you're not spending 15 minutes, don't even bother coming in at 9:30, honestly. So if you're not spending 15 minutes before 9:30, there's no point of even trading. You have to set the plan before the market opens and kind of expect what you are going to be trading throughout the day. So if you do plan on participating in the challenge account, I will still be requiring everyone to just go ahead and try to identify quality setups before the market opens, and then do the same thing throughout the day. Is keep yourself accountable with the top watch that you posted in the pre-market, and also share some actionable data if you find it. And the last point in that first goal is to also understand low volume environments. Another kind of main thing that a lot of the community lacks in is understanding low volume environments. So as soon as I tell you guys, below 50 million in market tide, below 20 million in market tide, those are some really low volume environments. Option chain activity should have more than 100 million on a good trend day. So when we do see these low volume environments, you can notice that I'm not really in the chats. I'm not too active. I am still monitoring the charts. If I see something, for example, like today, we did see an afternoon setup, even though there was some low volume. But typically, typically when we do say there is some low activity or low volume across the options chain, we won't really see much movement or trades in the afternoon session. So this is one thing that the whole community needs to do better at, is avoiding these low volume environments. Doesn't mean you don't have to look at the charts. You can still look at the charts. Just try to avoid them by forcing the trades. If you see that smart money is away, try to do the same thing. And that's what we're going to be doing on the challenge account as well. Hopefully everyone understands that it is our most important goal there on the challenge account. And part 2 or second goal of this is understanding risk management and scalability. So each trader needs to focus on risk management. We will be using a percentage-based stop loss, 15 to 20% until the account is at 25,000. So until then, we can't use any level-based stop losses unless we specify, but majority of the time we will be using percentage-based, so 15 to 20% until we break that $25,000 goal. This is to kind of understand risk management. We can't be breaking the rules. I tried to talk about risk management in the past. A lot of people just kind of skip over it. But if you're not respecting your own risk management or stop loss and things like this, you're just disrespecting your own strategy first of all, and your own money, your hard-earned money. You don't want to be disrespecting your money by not following a strict rule or a strict management system for your risk. This will also allow us to scale the account if we're using the strict stop loss 15 to 20% until the $25,000 mark. While I'm on this $25,000 mark point, there is no PDT here in Canada, so I just wanted to bring this up. You might be affected by PDT on this or whatever that is. I'm not really familiar with it, but typically I'm only doing 1 or 2 trades in a day anyways, and I don't think it'll impact anyone too much, but that's just a quick heads up. And the last point is understanding consistency is our last goal here. The PDF, it is in the chat. I posted it just a bit ago, so you could find it in the chat. But last point is understanding consistency. So every trader must set the goal to focus on only quality setups using a repeatable system for consistent results. So obviously in this case, we're going to be using the Flow AI system with the strat, and that's going to be a repeatable system. And mainly this goal just means try not to have any, shiny object syndrome. Usually I see traders, they're saying, oh, look, this guy's using ICT. This trader is using, these EMAs, these clouds, whatever it is. And they just quickly jump strategy to strategy. Not really the thing you want to do when you're trying to build an account. So stick on something repeatable, consistent, and that's going to be the Flow AI plus the strat for us. So try not to incorporate anything else into these trades when you are following the challenge account. And that's going to be a really big goal for us. So once you do start understanding that, I think that'll help everyone build their own major own accounts as well. Hey guys, I do need to add this as part of the video. I forgot to touch on it on the actual recording session, but there is some more participation required from the whole community for me to feel motivated and engaged with the community to build a challenge account. I need to see every single one of you guys putting in effort and identifying top setups, sharing sharp movers intraday, and just engaging in market talks throughout the day. I've noticed it's just a handful of people that are sharing their top picks and their analysis throughout the day and keeping the chats engaged with market discussions. And those are the same people that are posting their results constantly and seeing constant improvements in their trading. Now, like I've said, I am doing this challenge account for fun. At first, I did this as a practice run, but as it started taking off, I just focused on it and it was really successful for me. So I am planning on doing this again with the whole community. So this is for you guys, and I'm just asking for you guys all to contribute, keep the engagement more active so we can have more eyes on the chart, more motivation for us to do this and build this challenge account together. Now, I have seen a bunch of different trading communities as Ghostport does power other trading communities, and I get to see what goes on in there. And I've just noticed that the chats are a lot more active and a lot more dedicated towards market talks, which helps everyone benefit from it. This also reminds me of when I first started trading. I did find a community and start talking in it and start sharing my analysis, start asking questions. And this was the part that helped me the most. It helped me speed up my process to becoming a profitable trader, as I had direct access to people that had the information that I needed and the experience. So I'm advising everyone that watches this video or hears this part right here, make sure you try to at least post a few things throughout the day, so that can be analysis in the pre-market, during the market hours, whatever it is. Post something, post a discussion, post a question, whatever it is, because if I don't see enough engagement, I will call the challenge off, or I will just take the handful of people that are dedicated and are showing serious efforts to becoming a profitable and more successful trader. I will just add them to a group chat and I'll just do this with them. Don't think it'll get to that point. I believe every single one of you are putting in effort, are serious about this. I mean, you are watching this video to this point. I'm just asking if you guys can just share something, but this is something very important that I had to add into this recording for us to move forward with this challenge account. On the next slide, it should be strategy. and I'll just be covering the strategy we're going to be using. So the strap, obviously, this is what we will be using to identify consolidation setups and setups which are moving in an unusual manner. So if you don't know what strat is, it basically is a candlestick reading strategy in the market. It just repeatedly finds inside bars and outside bars, which are the main part of the strat. Outside bars means there's some unusual price going on, and you want to focus on that, look for a little bit of consolidation and then continuation. And the inside bar means there's currently some consolidation going on, and you're looking for an expansion. Now, majority of the times whenever I talk to someone about this strat, they ask me why do I really like this strat so much. And main important thing is that when you're trading options, you're fighting against time, right? You're picking weeklies, you're picking monthlies, and the strat is a candlestick reading pattern that allows you to identify by when it should be making the move. So when you're looking at a weekly setup, a weekly 3-1 should be hitting the magnitude within that week. That's how I'm able to identify the weeks that we will be consolidating. For example, that week I was on vacation. I was able to identify it would be a consolidation setup because I saw the week before I left was an outside bar, so wide range, and the week I was gone was inside bar. So that's going to be the tight consolidation range. And that's how you can identify the certain, time frames that the moves will be happening. So you can use the strat all the way from monthly, even higher than the monthly, honestly, but I would say from the monthly all the way down to even 15-minute. So any single time frame you can use it. But yeah, main important thing is identifying the magnitude of the time frame you're on. So weekly setups would be moving on the weekly time frame, and that's why when I came back from my vacation, I did tell you guys that that week would be the major moves happening in the market. It's time to step on the gas, and we had some upside positions moving up to 6,000 on SPX, and there was some really nice day trades. And even yesterday, I talked about the inside bar. I told you guys on Wednesday that Thursday should be bringing some inside bar consolidation, and Friday should be the massive move. And if you guys take a look at the charts, yesterday was a lot of consolidation, right, pinned right at the 600 mark, and today we got the massive moves. And it could seem like it's just a coincidence every single time, but it's been really consistent, especially if you've been in the community for a long time. I don't talk about major moves every single week or every single day even. So when I do talk about them, it's coming from the strat, and now you guys can kind of see how I time things. So that's the first and most important part of the strategy we're going to be using is a strap, the backbone of every setup. And then we're going to use options flow. So options flow is going to allow us to track smart money that's coming into positions on these quality setups. So if we see inside bars list is full of semis, we have NVIDIA, SOXL, AMD, they're all inside bars. And we see that they're all picking up a bunch of smart money in them. NVIDIA calls being hammered day after day, or right after the week open, we have NVIDIA AMD calls. We've seen this happen several times, and then we see the whole semis sector moving. So that's when we're going to be using the strat and the options flow data together. And then the last part of the strategy is going to be dark pool data. So that's another key thing that I use every single day. And that's going to help us track large dark pool activity in key areas on indexes. So it's going to help us stay in sync with the smart money ranges on SPY and Qs. So basically, you guys hear me talking about the dark pool range is going to be between 600 and, say, for example, 599.86. If we have 5 billion sitting on each of these levels, we can expect price to just sit between there, because 5 billion is a lot of volume that needs to be fighting together, buy and sell, until we see some major moves. And then from that point, we can see the breakout from there. So it's going to help us identify the ranges of the market with the dark pool, and kind of the magnet zones that we are expecting. So the next slide we'll move on to is tools. So obviously we are going to be using the Ghostboard dashboard. This is the main thing I'm going to be using for the flow tracking. Besides this, it's just going to be the community chat. If I see anything in the chat that I like from you guys sharing it, that's what I'm going to be using as a tool as well. Or the voice chat. For example, we have a bunch of analysts here on the voice chat: Joe, Rickster, Vijaya, a bunch of people. So whatever input they give, I will be using that as a tool as well, which I do every single day here. Now, the last point here is risk management and entry exit logic. So you can see here we have the account broken down into 3 pieces here. So we have the 25K, 25 to 50K mark, and then 50K plus mark. So first and most importantly, we're going to start off with the stop loss. So until we don't break the $25,000 mark, I already mentioned this once, but we won't be breaking the 15 to 30% stop loss rule unless specified. Like I said, if there is a level that we really need to keep an eye out for, then that would be a completely different thing. But majority of the time, we will be following this 15 to 30% stop loss. Over 25K to 50K, it's going to be level-based stop loss. And then obviously same thing for above 50K. And then entry and exit logic. So entry point, alert entry. We're never going to be using more than 30% of the count in the initial starting point. So under $25,000, we won't be using more than 30% of the count. Any low risk trades we'll be using up to 30%. Average trade risk 20%, and then high risk is going to be 10% of the account. So just to give a quick example, if you have like a $2,000 account and you're using about 20%, if you're following this system, it will be a bunch of trades that you had to run through until you get to that full capital blown, which will give you ample time and ample opportunity to kind of fine tune this strategy and get in sync with it, I would say. And then 25 to 50K. So the only difference here in the entries is 25. Once we break the 25K mark, is that we will be looking for additional entry points. So adding points if applicable, I will be sharing that in details. So if I say, for example, I'm looking at Tesla longs over 330 with the flow, we get actionable flow, and I let you guys know that there's an entry here. And I do let you guys know that if we do retest 227, for example, 327, for example, I will be looking to add more to the position. I will put all these details out, but I'm just saying that over $25,000 is where we will be adding to the position. Until then, we can't average down or we can't add to the position. And over 50K, same thing. No changes there for the entry. And exit, same exact thing throughout. Yeah, it is entry and exit point. So that's what I'm saying. It is going to be entry and exit point provided, but we aren't going to be using more than 30% of the account, and then we're going to be following strict profit taking as well, which I'll explain in just a second. And then exit points, yeah, so I will alert the exit points and trailing if applicable. So for example, today trailing would be like Tesla trade we had. Apple trade we had in the morning. There was some levels, so I said 197.20 was my trailing level at the lows, which was around the previous level date. And above that, if we do go back into that range, you can take the rest of your profits off in a profitable zone. So I will be providing those levels if they are applicable, but I think until the at least 10K mark, we will just be taking profits without much trailing. Yeah, okay. So basically on the strat, I will be letting you guys know if I'm waiting for a 5-minute or 15-minute close. So if it's a daily setup, usually I'm waiting for a 5-minute close. Weekly setup, I'm using a 15-minute close. And no, there won't be a separate channel here. What I am saying is, what I was meant to say is that there will be a separate section on the GoSport app. So that's where everything's going to be tracked. So whenever there's an entry on actionable flow alert, the entry will be provided on the app in a separate section. So you can keep a track of all the alerts there. And then there'll also be a section where it's tracking the past orders. So past transactions will have everything there. And then I'm planning on syncing it up with live account balances there as well. So that'll be updated throughout the day. And then just, I might just use that page to kind of just focus on the challenge from there. If anyone wants to tune into the challenge from there, they can just see the past orders and everything like that. But main important point I wanted to bring up here as well is that I have been part of many Discord communities where there have been challenge accounts, stuff like this. So whenever there's a challenge account announced, people think that, this is their holy grail. They can kind of see that this person is starting with $2,000, and if they're buying, like, say for example, 900 or 1900 worth of contracts, it could be a sign for me to go all in on my main account. And that's never pretty. People kind of just don't really understand the risk behind this, and no one's really using some critical thinking already as it is in the pre-market when there's like top watch required or anything like this. So personally, I am going to be starting the challenge with $2,000 and using that to scale. Originally, I did start with 1,000, but this time I'm starting with 2,000. And my advice to everyone is to start with whatever you're willing to lose or whatever you're willing to risk. I don't suggest you start with the same amount if you can't, right? You can do this with 1,000, you can do it with 500, whatever it is. Just follow the same exact system that I'm talking about in the risk management and entry exit logic PDF. So from there, you can see that, the same rules apply. 15-30% stop loss, no more than 30% of the account. And then those are the percentage we're going to be using for the trades. So try to follow along from there. Once I personally get over the $25,000 mark, and I'm going to be, identifying that majority of the community is following along and percentage-based trades are there. From that point, I will look to do something more specific. So something that when we get to the 25K mark, we can kind of scale together using specific contract sizing and stuff like this. But until then, I think everyone should be kind of trying to scale on their own. This is going to be a great learning opportunity for everyone to kind of understand risk management as well. And having to do some critical thinking and actually trading. And you guys know GoSport is not an alert service. It's a options data platform. And, from 2023, this has been an options data platform. And I try to stay away from alert service as much as I can. And you guys know there are some regulations I have to follow as well as the founder of GoSport. So exact contract sizing and stuff like this, if I do post it on the GoSport app, it is meant to be on the app only. And in the future, I will put some more details on this, and you guys might be required to sign some stuff. But I'm just giving you guys a heads up. As I said, this is just a quick info and prep session. I tried to put this together this week. I think it did a pretty good job as to kind of just identifying the goal of the account, strategy we will be using, and how everyone can kind of cooperate together, participate in understanding. I think this is an amazing educational opportunity to understand really how to scale an account, and using options data. So for everyone that has been using options data for a while, there definitely is an edge there. I used it for years now, and I can tell you right now that I can't trade. I just cannot trade without options data. It's not possible for me. Whenever I'm on the go, I have to be looking at options data, and that's what kind of inspired me to build GoSport as well. In the beginning, it was mainly for me to kind of bridge that gap between me and what I needed, and then I slowly started pushing this out there as a service for everyone that needed this. And GoSport has come a far way, and I think this is a great opportunity for everyone to kind of just understand how powerful options data is. From my perspective, I think over the last few months, even though I have been sharing actionable flow alerts, I think some people have just been maybe either scared, or they just don't really understand options flow or something like this. I have seen some of you guys incredible results that have been focusing on the top watches, focusing on the options flow, using your own dashboards to kind of identify stuff, and then you guys post some incredible results throughout the day with your gains. But I think the bunch of the community does need a little bit of help into kind of identifying how to use it more specifically. So I think this will be a great learning opportunity. I'll just take a second to read some of these questions in the chat. No, the feature for the app, the feature for the challenge account in the app is not enabled yet. It is being worked on. I wanted it to be ready on this during this session so I can show it to you guys, but I didn't want it to rush, or the development team to rush it either. So I told them that they can take their time with it, just because we aren't starting the challenge, so there is no need to rush it. And I think when it's ready, I'll give you guys a quick rundown. It's going to be very user friendly. You guys just click a button. All the trades are going to be there. The trade feed is going to be there. Order history, account balance, and that'll be it there. Okay, questions are in the live chat. I'll take a look. iOS is out of beta. So we spent the last week in beta. You guys crushed it. You guys got over 400 downloads, and everything is working smoothly now on the iOS app. So it is out of beta now, and it's officially on the App Store as well. So you could download it from there. It is going to be a premium only challenge account. So right now, if you guys go download the GoSport app, there is no paywall on the app. I've done this specifically just to give everyone an idea of how the GoSport dashboard works for about a week. But right before the challenge goes live, the paywall is going to be back up on the app, so you are going to lose access to it. I know some people have been thinking there might be a glitch because you see premium on your account and you aren't really a premium member. Trust me, this is not a glitch. It will be dealt with soon. It's just because I've been kind enough to just open it up for everyone to just see it on our first week of launch, and just get the whole idea out there. Yeah, once it's ready, it'll be like the Friday before we even start the challenge account, most likely. So I'll give you guys access to that tool. You guys can take a look at the flow account area on the app, or you guys can open it on the website as well. Will the notification work for that section? Yeah, so all notifications are going to be sent directly to your phone. So that's when actionable flow comes up, and I'm looking for an entry. When I do get the entry, I'm going to be sending an alert out to your phone. It's going to say something like, for the title, it should be something like flow play, challenge play, something like this. Haven't really specified it yet, but whatever that is, the title will come in, and you'll be able to click on that, go over to the flow section, and you'll see the full feed there. Yeah, options chaser. The options flow is a lot of information, and I understand that you are curious to kind of see what settings you need to read it better. I have put out a video before on how you can tune it to kind of get it to my kind of settings. But that's the main objective of this whole challenge account, is to see how powerful options data is and how you can kind of use it to your advantage or gain an edge off of it. Because there are many services that provide options flow out there. I won't say any names, but they spam hundreds of alerts on or repeat flow or stuff like this, repeat hits, and it's not actionable. You cannot profit off those alerts, and that's one thing that I like to fine tune Flow AI for a lot, is that it's really actionable flow, and then we provide even more actionable flow on top of that. So we read the actionable flow, mix it with the strat, is what I'm saying is what the main focus of this flow challenge is, and then that's even more fine tuned for us. But I will move on to the next slide here. It's basically the final slide, is just refer a friend. So like I said, you guys broke over 400 downloads on the first unofficial launch of the app on the App Store, which is really impressive. But I'm asking if you guys can just reach out to one person and share the GoSport app to track real-time and unusual options data and market news in real time. So basically, I know you guys all have maybe just one friend from a different community or whatever it is. Just send them the app. It's free to use, like I said, for a week, and let them know that there is no paywall, no trial, or anything required. Just download the app. You can try it out for a week. You get free market news and free options data for a week. I mean, no one's losing anything. I'm just asking you guys to just share this so we can get a higher ranking on the App Store, as I do want to boost these downloads up as well. Yeah, every day. Oh, yeah, this was one key thing I forgot to put into the PDF. Every single day, I'm going to be providing an update of the account. So, whether that be screenshot or directly integrated with the API or sorry, Webull API, and it's going to be updated on the dashboard, or it'll just be a screenshot. So that's going to be once a day. I'll provide the account balance update, and once a week we will be having a group discussion. So whoever's participating in the Flow AI challenge, or you just want to kind of participate in the group discussion, we will be having one call a week where we will just cover basically the trades we have been doing, plans for the upcoming day, and just overall market talks so that we can kind of all just be in sync and plan together. I think this is going to be another good opportunity because, like I said, I do require everyone to take 15 minutes to do some analysis. And if we do it together, I think some more people might be inclined to doing it. Main reason of the challenge is to get everyone to understand the why behind trading, like why you take each position, what makes something actionable, what makes something a quality setup, and when to stay away from the market is just as important as understanding when to trade the market, which all these things are going to be covered in the challenge account as well. So if you guys remember earlier this week, we had about 50 million on the market tide or lower. And I told you guys this is a really good example of something I am going to bring up during this session is not only does flow or options data show you when to attack or when to be in the market with the volume. It also shows you when to stay away from the market. And I hope you guys avoided the price action that day I did in the afternoon, and it saved me from a bunch of unnecessary trades. And it was just the completely most disgusting price action that we probably saw this week. And today was pretty clean because the morning we had the 600 level dump on SPY, and then in the afternoon we had the larger range that we were expecting off the strat. So you know what? While I have you all here, I'm gonna show you the strat setup from today, just so you can kind of see exactly what this is. So you guys should all be seeing my trading view chart, at least for the people that are in the voice chat and able to tune in. But if you're not able to view this chart, I know there's some stream limitations. I just put in the main chat, but take a look at that. That's price action is from today. If you're looking at those fib levels and the purple zone, it's going to be the golden zone for the retracement. So that 50% retracement is the 50% zone of previous daily bar. Now, why did I decide to pick that today? Look at the daily on SPY. Yesterday, we had an inside bar. So the 50% of an inside bar is always important for us to mark out. So I marked it out this morning. We slow grinded all the way up to that 50%, and then we started rejecting. So no, I did not slam shorts as soon as we start rejecting. I'm not predicting this, huge move. I started seeing the weakness. I started seeing some bearish news coming out. So obviously the Iran and Israel attacks were happening in real time today, and there was a bunch of bearish news coming out on the headlines. And you can see that we started rejecting this 50% zone. And once we started seeing some weakness, I posted in the main chat as well that we are rejecting the 914 EMA. SPY is breaking down. And then from there, we had the 130% was my original target. And then these ended up going 300%. So I put in a very light size on this trade. Yeah, exactly. Simple guy. 914 EMA was the main position there as well. But I put in a very light size on this trade just so I can kind of scale with it and not really care about it. It had no emotional connection with me just because I was okay to lose the whole risk I put up there, as I was looking for a new low of day, and it ended up being an amazing play out. Ended up going low of day. And I'm just trying to show you exactly how the strat works and how you can predict price action very cleanly. And this is exactly what I did today. And yeah, Joe is right. It's a really important part right here, but I'm showing you guys kind of the secrets right now. Hopefully you guys are paying attention and kind of start using these and identifying it yourself. I would love to see, hundreds of eyes on this stuff so I can profit from it too. And I think it's just an amazing opportunity for every single person here. So I think majority of the questions are done. If there's anything else, you guys can leave it in the chat. If there's something you come up with overnight or over on the weekend, let me know in the chats. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I'm just happy to be able to do this right now, to be honest. Like I said, my whole goal of Gold Sport was to kind of just bridge that gap for me, myself, and to be able to help so many people bridge that gap between Wall Street level trading and just retail level trading. It's incredible, guys. So I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do this. And I think it's going to be an amazing, half a year or whatever it takes us to do this challenge account. I think it's just going to be a bunch of learning, a bunch of fun, and it's just going to be amazing. Right. So the platform that I am going to be using for trading is going to be the Webull. They just launched earlier this year, the Webull Canada. But you can find that If you're in the US, if you're in Canada, you can use it, but you can use any broker. I'm going to be just using the Webull Canada. Yeah, Baller sent fib tool to get the 50%. You just use the fib retracement, or you can even use the fib extension. It doesn't matter. 50% is going to be the same spot. Just take the high and low of yesterday. And like I said earlier, guys, the strategy, the strat video in more detail, it is in that PDF. There's a link to it. So just go click that link in the PDF and it'll take you to that video already made in detail. Yeah, I do use market tide to determine the market volume. More importantly, I use it to determine the options chain volume. So whenever we see some lower market tide, we kind of stay away from the options, and it does help out pretty well. Yeah, this is gonna be amazing. Baller cent. I use the 914 EMA on all time frames. 5 minute time frame is what I mainly use for intraday trading. But yeah, if there's any other questions you guys have, just feel free to drop them between now and the start date. I'll try to answer them and add them into the video if I can with some overlays. But I will take some time to just add some more things into the video, and then I'll post it on the weekend for you guys. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do this. Last slide I have there is just a discount code. If you're not already in the GoSport team and you want to join, there is a discount code. If you tune into the end, it's trading 30 for 30% off. It's our highest discount code that we're offering right now. So I just put that in there at the last slide as well. But yeah, just going back to this one last slide, refer a friend. I really want you guys to do this. Just takes one person, one message, and you guys could just spread the word, get us over 1,000 downloads on the app. That would be incredible. And I think that should be it from me. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Friday and amazing weekend. And yeah, if I have missed any questions, I'll read them back in just a bit here and I'll get back to you in the chat.